and fall down. Read the 10th canto, 2nd chapter, where all the demigods offering prayers to Lord Krishna in the womb of Mother Devaki. They offer the prayer. Lord Brahma says, Aru ekurchena param padam tata padanti anadhrata vishmadaya. I have seen my Lord, all those ignoring the bhakti, service to your lotus feet, those you have taken all other process. So bhakti is possible. One should again and again stress action of human service, human form of the life. Any other activity can get liberated from this cycle of birth and death. Other than not possible. So this human form body, one should, even Lord Krishna also giving the final instruction to Uddhava says, the same repeated. Nudeham ajyam sulabham sudullabham plavam sukalpam gurukarnadharam. Lord Krishna says that, Uddhava, this Nudeham, the human body, ajyam, source of everything. If I want to take birth in the animal kingdom, I can take birth, as I said in the before. I want to enjoy in the heavenly planet or enjoy in the earth planet, yes, you can enjoy. If I want to get out of this material existence of repeated birth and death, yes, I can also get surrender into the lotus feet of the Lord, then engage in devotional service and a possibility of going back home to Godhead. That's why Lord says, Ajyam is source of everything. What we want, we can achieve by this human body. Scripture says, the human body, it can achieve, like Vishwamitra, by performing austerities, he got so much power like a Brahma, he created parallel creation, which we call Trishanka Sarga. So human body, human form of the life, it can achieve what you want, what is your goal of life, what you want to achieve, object, that is, you can get it. That's why Krishna says that, Ajam, Sulabham Sudurlabham. Very difficult to get, I also say very easy to get. If one engage in the pious activity and accumulated result of those all pious activity is that one get association of the devotees, Vaishnava. Getting association of the devotees also not easy. In Durban we may be having millions of people. Out of so million, how many are here? So getting association of Vaishnavas and getting into the bhakti life, also not easy for everyone. Only fortunate people will come. That's why it says, Sulabham Sudurlabham. And Lord says that Plavam Sukalpam, this human form of the body is perfectly made to work as a boat to go through the material ocean. Material world is compared to the ocean, Bhavasindhu, Samsar Sagar. Samsarati Samsara. As you all know, on the bank, coastal area, on the bank of ocean you stand. Can we see other end of the ocean? We can't. In the same way, in the material world, when we came here, we don't know. When we are going to end of this second birth, we don't know. That's why material world is compared to the Bhavasindhu, Bhavasagar. To get out of this material world, ocean you want to go through, you want to pass this ocean, you need a boat. If you try to swim, we become breakfast for something. But if we have the nice boat, we can swim over. Here also Lord says that the human form of the body, Plava means boat, perfectly made to act as a boat. Who is going to drive this boat? Captain of the boat? Guru Karnadharam. When we take shelter of the spiritual master in Parampara, he will take the charge of this human body boat. And when rowing through the ocean, if the favorable wind comes, it can move forward. Unfavorable wind comes, it can sink. Now that one has taken shelter of the spiritual master, under his guidance is engaging in the loving devotional service of Lord, Krishna says, Mayanukule nanavashataritam. Because of your taken shelter, you are determined to get out of this material existence. Lord says, my blessings will work as a favorable wind to cross over this material ocean. Having got this very rare human body, Bhavan Pumabdin Natare Tatma. Having got such a wonderful human body which can enable us to get out of this material existence, those who do not try, they are just like a self-killer, Atmaha. What is the destiny of the self-killer? Ishopanishad, you can read it, 5th mantra. Self-killer, which suicide, what we call it, they have to suffer many, many lifetimes. Not easy. We think that, oh, suicide God. They have to suffer a lot in hellish planet, Andhatamisra. So this human form of the body, rate of 10, intelligent people like you all, use this human form of the body in the service of the Lord. Yes, family there, maintain, but how to enjoy with Krishna, we have to know it. All acharyas, Bhajauri, Manasri, Nanda, Nandana, Govindas Kaviraj also gives wonder. This human form of the body can achieve everything. Ashrama, household life also ashram, but we have to know how it is. As the lotus flower, always it is in the water, but you never find it wet, either flower or leaf. You have seen, I hope. Though it is staying in the water, it's the same way, it never becomes wet. In the same way, as householder also it is ashrama, it is not that to know. Out of the 4 ashramas, whether you are brahmachari, grastha, sannyasi, vanaprastha, only we can say ashram if you are taken shelter of the Lord. Ashram means ashray. The one who taken ashray, shelter of the Lord, then we can say it is ashram. If you are not taken shelter of the Lord, Krishna, and not engaged in the devotional service, then is a Gruha Medhi. He cannot be called Grastha Ashrama. And that life of a Gruha Medhi equivalent to any animalistic way of life. That is not the life of human being. I am not saying scripture says it. Because anything other than the bhakti, eating, sleeping, mating and fear, they are common for each and every living entity. But human form of the ashram means we are taking shelter of the Supreme Lord, engaging in service of the Lord, which enable us to get out of this cycle of birth and death. So the body, ultimate goal or aim of this human form of the life is engaging in Krishna consciousness or spiritual life. That is. And the bhakti, the easiest and best process for liberation from the material existence. And moreover, engaging in Krishna consciousness as taught by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the best among any other process. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took 2 principles from each and every parampara and made 8 principles of devotional service in Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. And taking the principle given Siddhanta also, Achincha Veda Veda Tattva. So it means when you are engaging in the devotional service in Krishna consciousness in ISKCON, means you are engaging in devotional service in all the 4 sampradayas. His Divine Grace Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Navadip Mandal Parikrama, he writes how each principle he has taken from each sampradaya. We are stressing on the Vaishnava Seva and ISKCON, that is taken from the Sri Sampradaya. Offering very opulent bhoga to the Lord, we taken from the Rudra Sampradaya. Shaking shelter of Krishna from Brahma Sampradaya. Taking shelter of Radharani from Kumar Sampradaya. So like that, in each sampradaya we are taking principles and we are engaging with following all that principles means it is more superior, glorious than any other parampara system. They all are glorious. But in Gaudiya Sampradaya, Krishna consciousness or ISKCON, this is far superior than any other. Because we are taking the principles, we are following teachings of all other acharyas and we are implementing them. So this human form life, wonderfully engaged, one can engage in service of the Lord to achieve the goal of the life. If one thinks that, oh, what is there? Prahlad Maharaj very nicely says in Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 6th chapter, while instructing the friends, which is teaching of Prahlad Maharaj. Even if human being got 100 years of lifespan, 50 years we spend in sleeping only, is it? 12 hours a day, 12 hours a night. So 50 years gone sleeping. From the time of birth up to the age of 12, we engage time in playing, reading, whatever it is. How much left? 20 years childhood gone. So how many years left? How much? Not hearing. 50 minus 20? 30 years left. And after 80 years, even if you want to engage yourself in the devotional service, your body won't cooperate with you. So many problems will come. So another 80 to 100, another 20 years gone. So how much is left with you? Only 10 years. Even if you engage this little time, 10%, still there we can go back home. We can be liberated from this material existence. And that's why Srila in the Bhagavatam also says that only by engaging and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. This is the easiest method. In the last canto of the Bhagavatam, Sudha Goswami writes, Kalim Sobhajantarya Gunajnasara Bhagina Nama Sankirtanene Vasar Sarvasarthopalabhyate. Only by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, one can achieve what you want it. One want to enjoy in the heavenly planet, yes, you can go. One want to go back home to Godhead, Golok Vrindavan, yes, one can go. One want to eternal remain in the material world, you can go. What you want, you get it. Liberation from the material existence is easy by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna. Jagat Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Holiness Ram Govinda Swami Maharaj ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, everyone. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Jnanatamrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitangina Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And in fact, I was born in the darkness of ignorance and also in the cold of Canada. I've been coming here to South Africa this is my 21st time coming. And some years back, maybe about 35 years ago, I was having a chat with some of our God brothers and God sisters from Canada who had spent some time here. I believe it was in Cape Town, the likes of Padyavali Devi Dasi, Kala Das, Rochan Prabhu, and let's see, Yashamati, Kala's wife. Maharaj, do you remember them?
Yes, very well.
Okay. Okay, was it a good experience? Okay.
But Padyavali, wow.
Padyavali, yes.
And Kala and his wife, absolutely.
So I was curious about Africa. I'd never been to Africa before. to speak of South Africa, and I asked Padyavali in particular. She's passed away now. About 5 years ago, she left her body. We used to go and visit her at the seniors' home. It was very difficult to see her. Each time I'd see her, her health would deteriorate. But anyways, I asked her, said, what are people like in South Africa? I said, oh, they have honey-coated hearts. And so I got a good impression. Hare Krishna Maharaj. I had a good impression of what people were like here in South Africa. And so when I come here, I see it's absolutely true. There's lots of honey and lots of sugar cane around. So the topic is the ultimate goal. And Ram Govinda Maharaj identified that the ultimate goal is bhakti. So I just want to share with you a poem I wrote about bhakti. It's called that, About Bhakti. Contrary to popular belief, strength lies in humility, whereas weakness does in pride. Our base, set in simplicity, puts complexities to the side. Pleasures ignite from stimulus, but that is so short-lived. Long-term comes from vigilance, when cheap thrills are outlived. Entertainment may lift us up, but education takes us higher. Spectators don't always see close up, as through wisdom we are inspired. We define ourselves in bodily terms, yet the body is just a shell. Our observing this shell confirms that it's within that we do dwell. Happiness happens in receiving, and that is certainly true. However, the item that is most pleasing is when one gives to him and you. Hare Krishna. Thank you. And as it's stated in the Bhagavad Gita, our very cherished text, our holy book, I guess I can speak on holy terms because it's Easter weekend, right? Bhaktya namam avijanati yavaschashmi tattvataha. The way to get to the ultimate is to loving God, through loving exchanges. And I would say that to get to the ultimate goal requires us to look at the immediate goal. Maybe it's not such a good idea to be too futuristic and, look too far into the future. Maybe it's a very good idea to look at the present. So I may have mentioned, I presented this little story to you before. The first time I walked across Canada, I was nearing the end. I started from the west coast, which is in Vancouver Island, and ended up in Newfoundland, close to where the big ship sank, Titanic. And this is in the city of Halifax. And on one fine morning day, this is early December, a member of the CBC came, that's Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. And when they come to do an interview, it's like a great win. Oh, wow, great. I'm sure Prabhupada's pleased because they're the most respected, broadcast corporation in the country. And so a young woman came to interview me. And she brought with her a tape recorder. Do you remember those ancient relics from the times of the past? And she asked all the standard questions, about like, what's your name? Of course, that's basic. And then she asked also, when did you start the walk? And it was April the 12th, and now it was early December, I was finishing up. And she asked, and why are you doing this walk? And I said, well, it's for the healing, spiritual healing of the nation. And I elaborated on that a little bit. And, basically it's to promote walking. Walking is good for you. Walking is good for the body, it's good for the soul, it's good for your mental outcome, everything. And she asked, well, how many pairs of shoes does it take to walk across Canada? And I said, 4. And she asked a whole bunch of other questions, which were great. So then the interview was rolling out really smoothly. And then I asked, she had then put a question to me. So now that you're almost finished the walk, Swami, what was the greatest thing that you had experienced on this walk? And so at that point, I kind of went stage fright. I didn't know what to say. I just went blank. And I didn't know and I was thinking, well, should I talk to her about how when I was stalked by a grizzly bear, or when I was attacked on my behind, I was actually dealing with the call of nature, and 7 wasps came and had a bite. And this is true, slightly embarrassing. And I also, when I was in Saskatchewan, I was attacked by these blackbirds. Nothing seemed to, I couldn't wrap my head around the main point of what I wanted to say. And so time was ticking away. And, I would say it wasn't long, but it seems long when you're on pause. You know what I mean? And then I think, well, the greatest thing that happened on this walk is, well, you're standing there in front of me, and you're asking me this question, and I'm trying to figure it out. That's the greatest thing that happened on this walk. And she said, oh, I know what you mean. It's living for the moment, being in the present. I said, yeah, exactly, that's it. So when it comes to going on long walks, you go through different phases of past, present, future. And I've analyzed it like this. I don't know if you've ever tried this, but in the course of the day, and it's probably easy to do this when you're just walking, doing something simple, maybe 33.333% is spending time in the past. Maybe another 33.333, etc., etc., etc. You're thinking about future projects, and perhaps the balance, which is about the same amount, you spend at the present moment. Oh, the sky is great. Oh, look at those geese. They're our version of the, what do you call them, the la-di-da birds that you have here, the hahidas or whatever they call it, yeah. And, so you live in the present, and a lot of quality time has to be there. Everybody knows how important it is when you're chanting your japa. You have to kind of be there with it. The mind is racing, and it's very hard to tame it. So you try very much to be in the present. Dwelling with the past is oftentimes a little bit, can be very tamasic. Thinking a lot, contemplating on the future can be a little bit rajasic. And you just want to say, hold your horses, take step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then maybe you'll get there. But being in the present, taking time for the quality, bhakti, output, at the present moment, like Prabhupada used to say, pay attention to details. That sattva gun is what is really required, to get to the ultimate goal. So the ultimate goal to get there is to live with the goal now. Whatever we're doing now, we do it with quality, with as much expertise as possible, with as much mercy as possible. Whatever bhakti we could conjure up, it's so important to be here and to be now, okay? So when I joined the movement, there was a popular book out, Be Here Now. Do you remember that, Maharaj? Did you read it?
No.
I didn't either.
I read,
I didn't either.
I did read the book, Steal This Book.
Steal This Book. Okay, it's along the same lines. Okay. So I can only imagine what the contents are of Be Here Now, but it means be very much in the present, which in many ways can be translated as be in sattva gun, act in a sattvic way, conscientious, you know, to be very, you know, conscious and conscientious. Those two words are almost like synonyms, you know. Be aware of what you're doing, right? So I would say this community here in Durban, I don't want to speak competitively. I'm just putting you all together like the whole gamut. You're all very wonderful. You're very nice. You pay attention to a lot of details, especially when it comes to the prasadam. Oh my God. Wow. So nice. The only area that I have two pet peeves about here. The shoes are never lined up nicely. When you park your car, you put it in a space which is, you know, let's say makes sense, and where you're courteous to make room for all the other motorists that are coming by, right? And the other one was, my other pet peeve, which I expressed the other day, was the, how did Swarup Damodar explain it? Ecstatic chaos. The kirtan in the beginning, which was, everyone was in a happy mood, but it needs to be organized. So we need just simply to take care of those kind of details, living very much in the present, and trying to very hard to see that Krishna is present at every moment. It's not about me, and it's not about what I am doing. I am not the doer. I only have a will. I have a choice to go right or left. I make those kind of decisions on a regular basis, and it could be hundreds and hundreds of decisions like that we make every day. And we try to do it conscientiously. What's good for Krishna? What's good for Prabhupada should be good for me, right? What's good for the community? What's good for everyone? I'm last. I'm in the queue. I'm last. Because I'm part of the whole. And this is where what Prabhupada asked us to do, and what he felt was going to make our movement successful, was to apply the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, which means unity and diversity. There's different ways to approach Krishna through bhakti. There isn't just one way. But Prabhupada had written, it was 50 years ago, this year, he wrote a famous letter that was addressed to all the leaders. And he said, I want all of my leaders to come every year to Mayapur to discuss how to implement, I'm just paraphrasing, unity in diversity. And I don't think we've done it.
So work in progress.
Work in progress, and certainly not in detail. We've touched on it here and there. So when you think about it, we are a wonderful community that we can be proud of. But we are sometimes in our little bubble, I feel, that we are, let's say, not reaching out sufficiently to the public. We actually haven't figured out how to be relevant to the outside world. And maybe that's just a phase we're going through, you know. I have to chant Hare Krishna and this and that. I have my sadhana, and this is the way we do things, and everything's with the right hand, and, you know, all these fine details. fine, good. And I observe Ekadashi once every 2 weeks, and I break my fast the next morning after the fast, anywhere from 6:42 a.m. until 8:55 that next morning. And we get very, very meticulous about these things, which may not have much relevance to the outside world. And if someone new comes to our society to visit, and we put forward these fine details of meticulousness and, let's say, splitting hairs, it might turn some people off. Oh my God, it's so too many complexities. So maybe we need to look a little harder at how we are presenting Krishna consciousness to the world. We know that in South Africa there's different groups of people, different diversities, and it's beautiful. And I'm based in Toronto, which is supposed to be the most multicultural city in the world, more than New York City. So that's why I like the place, I like the town. You get everybody there. You're in you walk a few blocks this way, oh, I'm in Spain. You walk a few blocks over there, oh, we're in Portugal. A few blocks, now we're in Poland. You walk, oh, and now we're in the Caribbean. And I'm not sure where the South Africans hang out, to be honest with you. But it's very diverse and it's fun. And so we haven't yet figured out how to draw everybody in, Of course, there's a big draw from the vegan community and the yoga community. You can call them Vedic people. But when it comes to our diet, usually unless if they're very immature, they'll get a little bit turned off by our dairy issues. But anyways, and of course, the low-hanging fruit, as the term that became popular by Deva Swami, was, people from Southeast Asia. It's easy for them to come to Krishna. They love ISKCON. They love Hare Krishna. Of course, we made some mistakes in the past, but they love us. Anywhere where I'm walking in, say, the greater Toronto area, people say, oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Ratiyatra, Center Island. Maharaj, you've been to Center Island. So we're known for doing some things really well, and it's going to take a lot of hard work to figure out how to draw people of a different origin into Krishna consciousness. For that, we probably need different programs, different approaches, that's for sure. Like, say, for instance, our Archana Vigraha, our puja, our seva with deities, Muslims don't relate to it, Jews don't relate to it, Protestants don't, Catholics do, Buddhists, yeah, some do, some not. So then we're missing out a big chunk of society, right? But what we do have that we can put forth is, Prabhupada has given us kirtan, which is great. Prabhupada has given us wisdom, the Shastras, which is fantastic, and also prasadam. Those are the 3 areas of concentration that's going to win hearts. And so to get to the ultimate goal of life, it's really more in the sharing than in the receiving. And those of us who have received, that is, those of us who have been around, those who have received Diksha once, twice, thrice, Swamiji's, or even the first Diksha, you're in a position where you can deliver. There's a lot to give. There's so much. And that's where the joy lies in. It's a fun religion. It is a joyously executed, as Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, Susukam Karatum Avyayam, chapter 9. He says it's joyfully executed, like we're happy people. Happy, happy, happy people. Like people are smiling right now as I say that. Of course, before I said happy, there weren't any smiles. But we hope you can keep the smiles going. And that's a big attraction, that's a big draw. really. And that's always our big concern. How do we bring people in? How do we keep people there? That's the other thing. How do we, let's say, retain the attendance, the, let's say, the participation, and we do the best we can in that area. Many studies have been done about different faith groups, and usually in the first 2-3 years, new participants come in, they give a lot. After that, oftentimes it levels out, and they may not participate as much as when they first joined for different reasons. And of course, there's always those people who just dive in, swim deep, and they stay there. They're hardcore devotees. You know, I'm sure you've noticed there's different levels of commitment in Krishna consciousness. But our big task, the beautiful thing about the ultimate goal of life is to share Krishna, give a piece of Krishna to the public, to society at large. And then you feel good. It's greater to be giving than to be on the receiving end. So we have received, now we deliver. And Prabhupada said that, now I have made you fortunate, now you make others fortunate. So the ultimate goal is to share. And when you do that, you will make tremendous advancement. You will grow. You will grow and you will glow. And that's what we want. We want glowing people. We want everybody to be like South African devotees, you know, honey-coated, right? So that's those were my thoughts on the subject. So to get to the ultimate goal, we have to look at the here and the now and be serious about our sadhana, which constitutes for most of us doing some chanting every day, reading some shastra, of course taking prasadam, that's never a chore. And perhaps the most important thing is to establish good relationships amongst the devotees. Can't think of anything more important than that. If you can you can get to Krishna without being nice to his devotees, you're dreaming. Dream, 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 dream. You know, so our success hinges on our, going deep in our relationship with the devotees. And of course, it's a given. It's not going to work out for everybody. The chemistry doesn't always work out between two people, but at least we can be kind. At least we can be courteous and show some kind of protocol, right? It's just like that. It's just like that in this world. Now, it's not going to gel like for everybody, even within a community. But at least we try, and we keep making friends. We went through the exercise yesterday in the 9 Devotions workshop, and we were talking, I think a lot of people, it was pretty overwhelming, out of all the 9 devotions, is making the friend is like usually everyone's favorite exercise that we go through. So that's important. We have a term for when you are, let's say, a person who puts out bhakti, but you don't demonstrate it amongst your peers very well. Like you might even have a disdain, I love Krishna, I love God. And we have a term for that, kanishta. It even sounds kind of heavy, kanishta. So you can go there and you can move your way towards uttam adhikari. It's the opposite of tamas, which is ignorance, and that is to go towards Krishna. So we're just saying, my message is, the ultimate goal is to go to Krishna, yes, but on the condition that you are getting on with devotees. Hare Krishna. Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi ki jai. So I just want to reiterate that because the doors made lots of noise. So if we want to be successful spiritually, then it's got to happen here, it's got to happen now, it's got to be with the people that are around you, that are next to you. So you can look at the person next to you right now. Maharaj, I love you.
Oh.
Maharaj, I love you. And I love you too, okay? I don't know about these other people here. No. My point is we have to like each other, because we're very special. To be honest with you, anybody who refrains from eating animal body parts, anybody who doesn't take intoxications, anybody who's getting along with their husband and wife, and what's the last one? No gambling, right? Anybody who does, who follows, oh wow, you're a saint. In Kali Yuga, wow, if you're just not eating animals and fish and all that kind of stuff, well, you're really evolved according to the standards of Kali Yuga. So who we have here, we're precious. And the people outside are precious. And I will finish with this. In the early days, we were kind of fundamentalist in our attitudes. And there's nothing worse than dealing with a fundamentalist devotee. I'd rather sometimes sit with a gross karmi. But our attitude was us and them. But the point is, I go to Cuba every year, and there's devotees that I gave Diksha to. They came from Cuba and they were trying to get to the US and cross the Gulf and get to the Keys in Florida. And some of those devotees went in a raft, and there'd be like a pole in the middle, and they'd carry some water and practically nothing else. And storms would ching this way and that way. They weren't sure if they were going to make it. And they're screaming and just holding on for dear life on that middle pole, And when it came calm, they also noticed that at the Gulf of Mexico that there were other people who had tried this and didn't make it, like empty rafts and boats, whatever you could put together, So, but with some kind of cooperation, balancing the physically, at least this one particular family, they made it across. And so that's just what we have to do in terms of, I'm just giving you an example of what it might look like. So we are in the ocean of material existence. The waves get high and we get tossed around. And we just have to really work at the spirit of cooperation, which Prabhupada equated to love before he passed on. And then we will experience an incredible measure of success. So let us cooperate, and we will rate. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Maharaj. We now have His Holiness Bhakti Brihad Bhagavat Swami address us, and thereafter His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj.
Where's the voice coming from? It's like God speaking. Oh, there you go.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. I'm not sure what to say, because I'm sitting amongst my seniors here, so I'll probably pass it on to you. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, you can ask now. We have a microphone. And if the questions are too difficult, I'll just pass it on to my seniors.
Maharaj, perhaps you can give a little input on the theme, which is the ultimate goal of our life, and then we can take some questions after that.
Well, everyone in the material world, including devotees, are looking for happiness. but the basic foundation is missing. And the basic foundation is peace. If there's no peace in the heart, no matter how much you try to be happy, it won't work. For anyone, including practicing devotees. So one disciple asked Srila Prabhupada how to achieve that peaceful condition. And Srila Prabhupada quoted the famous verse from the Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktaram Yagya Tapasam, Sarva Loke Maheshwaram, Suridam Sarva Bhutanam, Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati. Which indicates that if one has even a faint realization that from the results of all of our activities, the beneficiary must be Krishna or Krishna's representatives. And even if it's a faint realization, then the personification of peace will begin to enter into the core of the heart. Then Sarva Loke Maheshwaram, then the next realization comes that whatever is sort of attributed to me, whether it's my position or influence or power or wealth or position in society, or even whatever I possess as gifts given to me, that I can excel in, all this actually belongs to Krishna. Krishna is Sarva Loke Maheshwaram, even the planets and everything else. So if that realization is not there, then one becomes the doer, and one cannot be a transparent via medium, because it stops by you. And then only one can have some realization that Krishna is a Suridam, Sarva Bhutanam. He is the principal well-wisher and the principal friend of me and everyone else in relationship to Krishna. That's when, in 108% way, Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati, that peace can enter the heart. Without the foundation or basis of peace, you can never build upon materially, what to speak of even spiritually. Peace has to be in the heart. And the commodity or the wealth of the personification of peace in the heart cannot be taken away from you externally by any means or by anyone. However, one has to take the responsibility of maintaining the personification of peace as the best friend in the heart, especially as Srila Prabhupada told us, and excuse me, I came a little late in because of my health, as His Holiness Bhakti Marg Swami emphasized that we should serve favorably according to how Krishna wants to be served and how Srila Prabhupada wants to be served. And he also touched on chanting one's japa. So if we can sort of make japa the priority number one list for the day, amongst doing other things that are also important for you, it would help it will help you to get the necessary strength and potency to maintain the best friend, the personification of peace in the heart. Based upon that foundation, you can do other services in a devotional way. Sometimes we may be overwhelmed with so many services. Like one member of the GBC who was my close friend, he said, sometimes I get overwhelmed with all these situations that I have to deal with and comment on. But I said, are you chanting your japa? He said, yes, but it's not attentive because these other issues come into my consciousness. But I said, nevertheless, one should chant it. Because if one is engaged in service without chanting one's japa, one will still be in anxiety, stress, and depression. And at best, your service will be mechanical or routine, which we don't really want also, because we want it more than that. But the japa brings a devotional element into everything that we do. So therefore, service becomes devotional service with the foundation and basis of chanting one's japa. Otherwise, it is just service. And that kind of service can become comparative, which is not so nice also. Comparative and competitive service, that I am doing better than others, is not devotional service. It has a tinge of dislike or jealousy, or even deeper than that as envy. So one should be cautious for that. So therefore we just don't want to engage externally in service. We want to add that element of devotion, which comes from as Srila Prabhupada said in a purport in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he uses the words absolutely necessary and most essential is to chant minimum of 16 rounds of japa a day. Of course, there may be one's health situation, there may be some emergency, or there may be an early flight that one maybe is taking. Those are not regular days. So that Radha Krishna understands that. But on a regular normal day, one should try to chant one's japa in the morning. I'm actually reminding myself more than reminding you all that I should do that to be maintaining the foundation or basis of peace internally, upon which every other thing can be built upon with the proper consciousness to make it not just service but devotional service. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, may we defer the questions to the end, then
that's okay.
Then everybody could ask any of the panel.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyachadeshadharane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyas cha kripas sindubhya evacha paditanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I think one thing we should do, I think we should all just put our hands in the air. Please put your hands in the air, thank you. All your hands. If you've got more than two, put them, all four of them. Thank you. Very good. And take a deep breath. And say after me, very loud, but after me, but very loud. Hare Krishna! wasn't too bad. Gonna keep your hands up. Not too bad, could have been worse. But let's do it one more time, and this time actually do it loud. Hare Krishna! It's not too bad. Wasn't too bad, was it? That's not the full mantra. Not the full packet of biscuits. All right, well, on the instruction of His Holiness Bhakti Brihad Bhagavat Maharaj Ki Jai. Yes, again, put your hands in the air. And all of them. Yes. Come on. And after me. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Put your hands up. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Was that all right? That wasn't bad, was it? Pretty good. In situations like this, I always think of His Holiness Parthasarathi Maharaj in a tent. Yes. I wish he was here. Anyway, I was considering the different natures of these three devotees sitting next to me. To begin with, we had His Holiness Ram Govinda Swami Maharaj, and of course, you know, it's difficult when you're the first one, and there's a sort of a bit of a queue system, and you may not know, what to do. But he was so shastric. It was amazing. So many verses. And I must admit, quite a number of them I don't know. So it means he's really been studying. Well, to my knowledge, he's studying the Bhagavatam every day. So I was impressed. I was deeply impressed and moved by the logicalness, if there is such a word, of his presentation and his shastricness. It was just... It's the English language, We're adding words. But I truly, I was just so impressed. And I was feeling a little worried. I'm going to have to speak, and if I don't speak so many verses, people are going to think I'm some sort of, just populist, just getting emotional and trying to move people. But yes, I was really impressed, and I was listening very carefully. Sure. It was really nice. And I came out, I came out at the end. He was insisting on devotional service, devotional service, devotional service. He really was. And I was sitting here thinking, I'm going to have to do some devotional service. Yeah, sure. And then we had His Holiness Bhakti Marg Maharaj. Sure, what can I say? Well, he said it all. It was amazing. And it was really beautiful, actually. Particularly, I sort of identified with, or I just vibed with the... Is that okay? with, you know, how we got to get on with each other. And I was remembering Ravindra Swarup Prabhu, not our Kirtan man, but from America, the very old Prabhupada disciple, super intellectual. And he was sitting there in a class, and somehow he's looking around, he's sort of half there, half not there, and looking at the different devotees, and he saw one devotee who he didn't get on with. And he's looking at this devotee, and I'm not looking at any of you, I'll just look up or down, I'll look down. And he was thinking, you know, who is this devotee, and what is this devotee? And then Srila Prabhupada was speaking, and Prabhupada then said, we are all going to be together forever. We will have another ISKCON in the spiritual world. And Ravindra Swarup Prabhu thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to create a relationship with this devotee. And he said he did. Because, you know, one of the problems we have is sometimes devotees get a little political with each other, or just, I don't know, they just don't appreciate each other enough. And when people come in from the outside who are not devotees but who could become, I mean, that means they have some potential, and they see things, they hear things like that, devotees criticizing each other and all this sort of, you know, rubbish, or anyway, you know, all that sort of stuff. Then people have told me personally, in the last few weeks, people told me that, you know, what's the point of getting involved with you people? Because you don't like each other. And, you know, am I going to end up like that? And then, so Maharaj was emphasizing that point, I'm sure you remember. And I was thinking of it so much, because in this country, well, you all know the history better than me of apartheid, apartness. And did you notice, this is the white seat. No. It's okay. Just relax. I mean, it was not intentional. Was it spontaneous? Or what was it? Or it was just, you know, nothing. It just that it happened. So, yeah. And you know, this country, I was born and raised in New Zealand, and our next door neighbor, we lived in a very good area. I mean, I don't want to get into it too much, but it was really a very good area. Next time you meet a person from Auckland, New Zealand, tell them you know someone who was brought up in St. Heliers, and see what sort of reaction you get. Anyway, it's a very good area. Yeah. Very good area. Anyway, I've forgotten what I was going to say. Haribol. But, okay, yeah, I remember our next door neighbors were Maoris. And they're sort of, kind of, by local standards, the local equivalent of Africans. Something like that, more or less. But they were our next door neighbors in a very good area. And we were friends. And we would play together. And I went to the local schools, and they were the best schools in the country. King's School and King's College. And there was a number of Maoris there, students. And we were just pals. We never thought, I can say I never thought, and it never seemed to me that any of the other schoolboys, it was a boys' school, that they were thinking about these things at all. I literally never heard some sort of comment of, what sort of type it might be. Never heard it. Then I remember it was around 1960 or something. So I was maybe 10 years old, or maybe not quite, but around there. And on the news, the TV, on our TV set, black and white television, then there was something from America, some little, like 30 seconds of how in America some of the African American people sat in the white section of the bus, and it became a bit of a thing. And I was looking at this, and I couldn't figure it out. I'm just young, and I'd never heard of these things. I just never heard of them. And I thought, what is this? It's the news. But are they joking? Are they trying to be funny? Or what are they doing? So anyway, it was just a different world, really different world. Then I came here, and anyway, you all know. And in terms of what Maharaj was saying about we got to get on, we got to work together and, develop Prabhupada's movement. Well, I know Giriraj Maharaj, on many occasions, he told me, we got to work more amongst the African community. And I know so many of you know what Kadamba Kanana Maharaj thought about that. And he really thought about it. So we got to do these things. And we got to do these things together. And without making, snide or just even silly comments about each other or some of us. We got to, Krishna consciousness is such a thing. As Maharaj mentioned, uttama. Tama is ignorance, but uttama, like uttama adhikari, the highest level devotee, the great pure devotee is uttama, above tama. That's the specific characteristic mentioned, uttama. Classically, for the highest class of devotee, that they're uttama. They're above ignorance. Anyway, that's something. That may sound a little heavy. I want to now say something a little light. Maharaj. Well, let me just mention Bhakti Brihad Bhagavat Maharaj. I looked at my watch when he started. It was 11:49. Then I looked when he stopped. It was 11:57. And I thought, listen, didn't they tell you you're meant to talk for half an hour? But, I've known him many years. Maybe since at least around the day he joined, that's for sure. And he has this very meticulous, way of presenting things very thoughtfully and also very shastrically. And he quoted Bhagavad Gita, what is it, 5:29, yes, the peace formula. So anyway, yeah, but it was only, what was it, 8 minutes, and I thought, gee whiz, I was hoping you're going to go till past. I wouldn't have to say anything. But then, referring back to Bhakti Marg Maharaj, he said we shouldn't be fanatics. And he doesn't like fanatics. You remember that? And he indicated, you remember, put his hands up like, oh no, it's a fanatic. I'm just not going to participate. I'm just not here. I am absent. Yeah, let him do whatever he likes, but I'm not going to be part of it. So I wanted to mention something related to that. And I know to quite a number of people it's important. That is that up until sometime like maybe 3 or 4 years before COVID, BC, before COVID, as opposed to what would you say, AC, after COVID. But I used to have this habit, a very serious habit, of when giving classes in a predominantly Indian audience, like today, I would almost every time, at least very often, I would mention what Parthasarathi Maharaj had told me, how the Indian people in South Africa, they love what he called alu beanie. And do you know what alu beanie is? Alu is Hindi. It means potatoes. And beanie is not Hindi, but it's South African for beans, kidney beans, broad beans, dried beans. So I used to joke about it until, I will not mention his name, but he's the temple president here. And he told me, really in a very serious way, and actually told me on numerous occasions after that, don't make fun of this habit or, the taste of the local Indian people for beans. So, I don't know if any of you noticed, I stopped. But now, you know what I'm going to do? And it's not just about it's just about the South Africans, yes, in general, that I am wondering, when are we going to get out of the habit? I mean, it's quite a nice habit, but it's a habit. And I think it is about time to get out of it, of, you know what? Butter paneer. There's a serious addiction here. And I think beans have been just, set aside. And now it's butter paneer forever. Yes, butter paneer ki jai. And I mean, come on. Can't we do something else? Sam, trying to get them to not be fanatical. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you don't feel insulted. And I know it's very easy. You just make the paneer and just whack, you cut it up and boil up something and just curry it up, as they say. And there you got butter paneer. There you go. Anyway, I think we should think of something new or different. So, but anyway, these are just such wonderful devotees here. And I've been sitting here since it was, what was it? It was 10:54. It was 10:54. I've been sitting here listening and listening and just thinking how fortunate I am and how fortunate we all are to have the association of these great souls. It's really, it's such a gift from Krishna. It's such a gift from Krishna. There's a conversation between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Roy. It's in the 8th chapter of Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Lord Chaitanya is asking the questions, Ramananda Roy is answering. And Lord Chaitanya asks, he asks a whole lot of things actually. What is the most this? Who is the most that? He asks, what is the most distressing thing? And Ramananda Roy answers that other than separation from the devotees, I don't know of any distressing thing in this world. So, the next time, I'm sure you won't, but if it ever happens, or if you hear it happen, that some devotee says something negative about another devotee, try and remember that. That's really profound. And I was thinking about it actually in the context of the disappearance of His Holiness Kadamba Maharaj, who I knew quite well. Actually, I knew Bhakti Churu Maharaj, I would say, quite a bit better, at least a longer time, and we spent a lot more time together. But when Kadamba Maharaj left this world, it moved me much more deeply, or at least noticeably more deeply, than the disappearance of Bhakti Churu Maharaj, who was just, he was such a sweet devotee. Bhakti Churu Maharaj, he had a special nature. Talk about honey-coated, yeah. Yes, I would say organic, raw honey coated. He was just so sweet. And I remember being in Mayapur for the GBC meetings, and he'd come almost, not every day, but every 2 or 3 days, and tell me, I must come for lunch because we're having pizza. So I had to come. And so anyway, I came because how can you refuse someone like that? Yes, so not every devotee's like that. You get a few grumpy types, and you know, a few sort of half here and half there types. And you get all sorts of types in Krishna consciousness. But we have to learn, you could even say the art, of appreciating devotees. When devotees come to me, which happens from time to time, and they say that I have trouble getting on with the devotees, appreciating the devotees, or some devotees or devotee. And I often tell them, please memorize the 26 qualities of a devotee. And the next time you see a devotee, and particularly if there's a particular one who gets on your nerves, just try and observe them from that point of view and try and see the good qualities. As Srila Baladev Vijayabhushan says in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 1, where Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that because you are never envious of me, I'm going to now tell you the most confidential knowledge. So in his purport, Baladev Vijayabhushan says, envy means that you look at another person, let's say another devotee. You look at another devotee and you search to find faults, even in the midst of many good qualities. And when you find a fault or two, then you think, aha, now I understand this devotee. But you've deliberately or spontaneously maybe overlooked the good qualities. So let's try and do that. Let's really try to do that. See the good in each other and express appreciation for it. I try to do that a bit. I don't know if Bhakti Brihad Bhagavat Maharaj remembers, on Friday night he made a point. He was doing questions and answers, and about how to deal if you're a devotee but you have Christian family members who are a bit otherwise, as they say, then how to deal with them. And he gave, actually I thought it was such a nice explanation. It was just really good. In his very, I can't imitate it, methodical and not quickly spoken way of expressing himself. It was really good. And so when I was next on, and I don't know if he remembers, but I expressed my appreciation because I really felt it. But I also knew it's a good thing to do, it's the right thing to do. And that's what's going to bring us closer. Appreciating the good, and unless it's like just totally chronically dangerous to the point of possibly being fatal, overlooking the shortcomings, because who doesn't have shortcomings? Yeah. And Prabhupada was expert at that. Time check. Oh, we got to do the questions, right? Because he only spoke for 8 minutes. It's terrible. We can go into the IT. Okay, let me just tell you one little Prabhupada story. I collect Prabhupada stories, and I thought, gee, what am I going to do? I know, I'll just tell Prabhupada stories. But anyway, then I thought, no, it wouldn't be. It's always suitable, but not maybe under these circumstances. But one little Prabhupada story along these lines, and it's one I really like. I got it from Satsvarup Maharaj. That one girl, a young woman, joined the temple full-time in Los Angeles. Prabhupada at that point was based there, and the BBT, the book production, was based there. And this girl said, you know what, I'm an artist. Can I paint for Prabhupada's books? And the BBT devotee said, yeah, paint a painting, we'll show it to Prabhupada, let's see what he says. So she painted a painting of Krishna looking very miserable, really, like it was just too tough a day. It was a bad day. Krishna was upset, actually. So they took her in to meet Prabhupada and to show Prabhupada her painting. So she did, and Prabhupada's now holding the painting and looking at it. And Prabhupada is shaking his head, not in the normal sort of Indian way, but in the no way. And Prabhupada said, what is this painting? And the girl said, Srila Prabhupada, it is Krishna feeling separation from Srimati Radharani. And Prabhupada said, no, no, no. This is not what Krishna looks like when he's feeling separation. He's in ecstasy. It's the highest ecstasy. You have made Krishna look like some boy who just lost his girlfriend. So no, we cannot use this picture. And he just, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Shri Nitai Gaura Sundar Ki Jai. And the cows Ki Jai. And the elephants too, and Srila Prabhupada. So he gave it back, and the girl just took it back and became traumatized. She was sitting there crying and crying and crying. And the two BBT devotees who were there, one was a sannyasi, one was a fanatical brahmachari. So they couldn't sort of take hold of her and march her out, or even sort of tap her on the shoulder and say, I think they're just sort of paralyzed. And she was crying and crying, and Prabhupada's watching her. And Prabhupada said, wait a minute, give me that painting again. So she gave him the painting. And Prabhupada now is holding the painting, but now Prabhupada is going like this. It's the yes movement. For a minute or whatever, some little short while, he looked at the painting, nodding his head. Then Prabhupada said, we can use this painting. We will call this painting, Krishna Has a Headache. So the girl was just so happy. And apparently, I don't actually know what her name was when she was initiated, but she became a regular artist for Prabhupada's books. So this is Srila Prabhupada, and he's exemplifying this there. And he found the good, even in something, which was, shall we say, questionable, you could say. We need to cultivate this. Because if we're going to be able to move in current day society and work with the people who are not even devotees at all, but somehow work with them in such ways that they feel, hey, these Hare Krishna people are really nice, and then they want to get involved. Well, we're going to have to become broad-minded. We really are. Otherwise, we'll be, not maybe continue to be, or be this little, insular group. Yeah. Where we're all happy, generally. But we can't really see much outside. So anyway, I appreciated the Friday. In fact, I was walking. I wanted to walk the whole way. But it was so crowded. And all these people, and these Matajis barging into me, and all that sort of stuff was going on. And you know what? I took shelter of the chariot. And I did my constitutional service. I was throwing sweets at people and spraying them with water. I'm always happy when I do that. Okay, so Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Why is everyone so silent? Let's give our panel a round of applause. Hare Krishna. So we haven't quite completed the program yet, because we're going to end with the kirtan for the Aarti, to be led by our devotees from Vrindavan, Sharad Bihari and Smita Krishna Das, not me, Smita Krishna Prabhu. I'd like to then sum up, taking a cue from His Holiness Bhakti Marg Swami and say, these are some of the messages that came through here today. The Supreme Lord on His chariot appears to rid of us of our misgivings and fears. Ram Govinda Swami spoke of our destiny. The human form of life is sacred and sublime. Devotional service is the opportunity divine. Depending on our desire and what we give time, we may simply our life pass just chasing broken glass. So to cross over the entrapment in the material body, take shelter of devotional service seriously. His Holiness Bhakti Marg Swami spoke of strength in humility. Pride is weakness. We need to be conscious and conscientious. We do some things well. Let's reach out and be more relevant and make society less of hell. Lots of hard work to bring people from different origins. Let's do it by kirtan, prasadam, and wisdom. More in the sharing than in the receiving is the way our attendants to retain, by friendliness and courtesy, our devotional lives we can sustain. His Holiness Bhakti Bhagavat Swami declared that without peace there is no happiness. The beneficiary must be Krishna or Krishna's representatives, not our influence, position, power or wealth. Even our health all belongs to Krishna. If we have a sense of propriety, then we cannot have sobriety. Make japa the priority. Don't just engage in service externally. Most essential and absolutely necessary is to chant one's japa in the morning daily. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami did a wonderful summary. He glorified the devotees. He spoke of Ram Govinda Swami's seriousness, or if I can use the coined word, shastricness. Then Maharaj recounted His Holiness Bhakti Marg Swami, who spoke of the necessity of us getting beyond our material identity. He used the example of Ravindra Swarup Prabhu, who realized that this is what we have to do because after we die, we may again meet someone in the spiritual sky. Then he glorified His Holiness Bhakti Brihad Maharaj's preciseness, his methodical manner, Bhaktaram Yagya Tapasam, whose message was delivered with such conciseness. Then Maharaj spoke of the question stated by Sri Chaitanya, given to Ramananda Raya, which is the most painful distress, a part of separation from the devotees. There is no unbearable unhappiness. Some other humorous leela about aloo and beanie and butter paneer and Krishna's headache, all to explain to work with others in society. We have to become a more broad-minded, more insular group. This is all we have to see. Thank you. So I just summarize that. I was trying to write it all down, Mars, but you were last, and so I may have left out some things. Less insular. We have to become more than an insular group. We have to see. That's the line there. So we'd like to thank all of the devotees who came for the festival, who made it a success in your large numbers. We want to thank all our special guests who are seated here, who have inspired us tremendously, given us their association, and personally, individually, as well as now collectively. So let's hear a nice, loud round of appreciation for everybody. Ratha Yatra 2023 K. 4 days Ratha Yatra 2024 K. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. let's call Pramana Prabhu. The boys will, okay, we can rise for the artik, and we'll please ask you to help us set the chairs. And let's also please appreciate all the devotees in management from all our temples who have put together this program for us, who managed it. Haribol!
Stand is coming, right? Stand is coming. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine. Srimate Bhakti Vedanta. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavade Paschatya Desha Tarine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Nirvishesha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Gadadhar Shivasadi Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Yashomate Nandana Brajabara Nagara Yashomate Nandana Yashomate Nandana Brajabara Nagara Yashomate Nandana Gokula Ranjana Gokula Gokula Raja Nakana O Gopi Paranadhana Madana Manohara Gopi Parana Kaliya Dhamana Vedhana Kaliya Kaliya Dhamana Vedhana Kaliya Amala Harinam Amiya Velasa Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasa O Vipina Puranadhara Navina Nagara Mora Vipina Puranadhara Vipina Puranadhara Navina Nagara Mora Bam Shivadana Shubhasa Bam Shivadana Shubhasa O Jashomati Nandana Brajajana Brajajana Yashomati Nandana Brajavarnagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Gokula Ranjana Kana Brajajana Palana Asura Kulana Shana Brajajana Brajajana Palana Asura Kulana Shana Brajajana Nanda Godhana Rakhovala Nanda Godhana Nanda Godhana Rakhovala Nanda O Govinda Madhava Namane Tataskara Govinda Madhava Namane Tataskara Govinda Madhava Namane Tataskara गोविंद सुंदर नंद गोपाल सुंदर सुंदर नंद गोपाल सुंदर ओ यमुना तटचर गोपी वसन हर ओ यमुना तटचर गोपी वसन हर रास रसिक कृप मोया ओ रास रसिका कृप मोया ओ श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नट मोरो श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नट मोरो ओ भगत विनोद छाया ओ भगत विनोद छाया ओ यशोमती नंदन व्रजभर नागर यशोमती नंदन व्रजभर नागर गोकुल रंजन खाना गोकुल रंजन खाना जय राधे श्याम जय राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय राधे श्याम ओ जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम ओ जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन ओ जय गौर निधाय जय गौर निधाय गौर निधाय जय गौर निधाय जय गौर निधाय जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ बालदेव जय सुभद्रा जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय जय प्रभुपा 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 जय प्रभुपा जय जय प्रभुपा 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 जय प्रभुपा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Bolo, bolo, bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, bolo, bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Oh, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, oh Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Rama, O Jaya Nithai Gauranga, Jaya Nithai Gauranga, O Jaya Nithai Gauranga, Jaya Nithai Gauranga, O Jaya Nithai Gauranga, Jaya Gaura Hare, O Jaya Nithai Gauranga, Jaya Gaura Hare, Jaya Gaura 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 Hare, Jaya Gaura 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 Hare, O Jaya Patita Bhavana Gaura Hare, O Jaya Patita Bhavana Gaura Hare, Jaya Kali Yuga Bhavana Gaura Hare, Jaya Kali Yuga Bhavana, Jaya Kali Yuga Bhavana Gaura Hare, O Jaya Sachi Mata Pranadhana Gaura Hare, Sachi Mata Pranadhana, O Jaya Sachi Mata Pranadhana Gaura Hare, Jaya Lakshmi Priya Pranadhana Gaura Hare, Jaya Lakshmi Priya Pranadhana, Jaya Lakshmi Priya Pranadhana Gaura Hare, O Jaya Vishnu Priya Pranadhana Gaura Hare, Vishnu Priya Pranadhana, O Jaya Vishnu Priya Pranadhana Gaura Hare, O Jaya Nithai Gauranga, Jaya Gaura Hare, Jaya Nithai Gauranga, Jaya Gaura Hare, O Jaya Nithai Gauranga, Jaya Gaura Hare, Jaya Nithai Gauranga, Jaya Gaura Hare, Nithai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari Bo. Nithai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari Bo.
Pranati, come up. Gana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
When you're done, if you can finish up the kirtan, because I want to start something.
Hare Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. समाप्त करने के बोल रहे हैं, समाप्त करने के लिए बोल रहे हैं. Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Nitai Gorango, Nitai Gorango, Rango, Nitai Gorango, Nitai Gorango, Rango, Nitai Gorango, Rango, Nitai Gorango, Gora Hari, Jaya Sachilandana, Jaya Sachilandana, Nandana, Jaya Sachilandana, Jaya Sachilandana, Nandana, Jaya Sachilandana, Gora Hari, Hari Patita Pavana, Gora Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Jaya Jagannath,
Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Hey Jagannath Swami, Nayana Bhatagami, Baba Tume. Oh Jagannath Swami Nayana Badagami Baba Tume. Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Baladeva, Rohini Nandana, Jaya Baladeva. Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Baladeva, Rohini Nandana, Jaya Baladeva. Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Maharani, Jaya Subhadra. Oh Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Maharani, Jaya Subhadra. Oh Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Oh Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Oh Jagannath Swami Nayana Badagami, Nayana Badagami Baba Tume. Oh Jagannath Swami Nayana Badagami, Nayana Badagami Baba Tume. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitago. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Yom Vishpal Paramsa Pariviraj Kacharya Stottar Shata Srimat Jivan Grace Vacharnaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swamahara Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Deputy Founder Acharya Vacharnaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swamahara Prabhupada ki jai. Yom Vishpal Nityalila Pravishta Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai. Namacharya Sriladda Thakur ki jai. Prem se Gau Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasad Gaur Bhaktand ki jai. Radha Krishna Govinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giridhardhan ki jai. Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra ki jai. Sri Sri Gaunitai ki jai. Sri Mayapur Dham ki jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sri Jagannath Pur Dham ki jai. Sri Ganga Maya Namai ki jai. Sri Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrind ki jai. ISKCON Vartamana Guru Vrind ki jai. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mahotsav ki jai. Sri Sat Sanga Mahotsav ki jai. Vaishnava Sanga Mahotsav ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. So thank you all for wonderfully participating in this ecstatic kirtan and the full program. So you can please make your way downstairs to the Prasadam Hall. And we'll be taking Prasadam all together with the Maharajas on the stage and all the devotees in the hall. Hare Krishna.